Here come the Capitals.
He's in alone. A shot. And a goal!
Bondra gets number 5.
Alexander Ovechkin.
The Capitals are champions.
When we think about firsts in the National Hockey League, we think about Willie O'Ree, 1958. But Mike was the first black player ever drafted in the National Hockey League. Marson was a top player when he was drafted. Because of that time gap between O'Ree and Marson, being the second was almost in essence being the first.
I loved hockey, but as a child, it was all I wanted. So now, fast forward, here I am lacing up beside Bobby Orr's and the Gordie Howes. Are you kidding me?
He was a physical guy, great skater. Mike was like a Brahma bull. I mean, my God almighty, strong, superhuman strength, just natural. Mike had a real good year. He had 16 goals in his rookie year.
Mike was a rugged player, but he had good hands. I think Washington saw goals in Mike. Bill's a Swiss Army knife. Bill's one of those players that every team needs.
I was first called up in 74 to play the game against Philadelphia Flyers. The first NHL game I ever seen, I was playing in. I was considered a 200-foot player. I could score goals, I could fight, and I was very good defensively. I was actually the first plus player in the history of the Washington Capitals. I always played 100%. Everybody knows about Willie being the first, but what about the first two black guys ever playing the same team together? First two black guys ever playing the same line together in the best league in the world. We enjoyed playing together and we tried to support one another, but the big thing was we wanted to give a good account of ourselves because we were two black guys on the ice and we didn't want to get scored against. When we played on the same line together, I'd dump it in this corner and he'd go in and bang, he'd hit that big D, or he'd dump it in mine, vice versa. Gee, boy, we used to upset some people.
Back in Marson's day, the black experience in Canada was different than the black experience in the United States. You're a high draft pick, and you got this big afro, mutton chops, and he became an obvious target for some people.
Hate mail was something that always rubbed me the wrong way, where people would cut out words out of magazines and stick them to a page, and then mail it to not just the Capitol Center, but to your home.
We're the only two black guys in the National Hockey League. I got called names in the States, I didn't even know what they were. I didn't even know what they meant.
When you go to a rink, and they have to go through a security check to find out who this guy is, only to find out he's a young kid that's playing for Washington, and that he's going to be suiting up tonight. These small things hurt.
I could get Mike to laugh about some of the situations that used to get pretty hot, but that was the only thing we could do. We were black guys in a white man's game back in the day. A lot of white guys made slips in the dressing room, and I pulled them aside and explained stuff to them. And a lot of stuff they didn't even understand. They didn't even think they were doing anything wrong. Once these guys got to know me, there was no black, there was no white, we were just teammates.
I think because of Marson and Riley, the Capitals got to understand what it's like to be a black player, and also that there is no difference between a black player and a white player in terms of talent.
I ended up getting Rookie of the Year for the Washington Capitals, voted on it by the players. And at that time, Rick Green was the first overall pick in Canada. So I thought that was a pretty good feather in my cap for me to be selected over him.
That helped produce a generation of players to come. Didn't have to think about, well, can we bring Reggie Savage in? Can we bring a Mike Greer in? Can we bring an Anson Carter in? The franchise learned, yeah, we can. You look around Capital One Arena, I see more black fans in the stands than any other arena in the National Hockey League. I think it's a legacy of Mike Marson and Bill Riley, a legacy of Joe Ward, Devontae Smith-Pelly, all the black players who've worn the Capitals jersey. When Mike came here a couple of years ago, and he wasn't sure how he was going to be received. He didn't know how fans were going to remember him.
Please welcome from the first ever Camp Squad, Marson!
The camera pans to him, his face is on the Jumbotron, and he got a standing ovation. If you look at that video, he might be tearing up because he just was not aware of that much love from Capital fans until that moment.